My stepmother told me I couldn't sit for family portraits because I wasn't really hers, so when she needed a place to live, I wasn't really her family either. You're not really mine. Denise said it so often growing up that by 14, I stopped registering it as an insult. It was just a fact of the house, like the broken step on the porch. The first time landed at a portrait session. I was 7. The photographer waved me over, and Denise put her hand on my shoulder and steered me toward the waiting room chairs. Blood only, sweetheart. You're not really mine. I learned to be furniture. I waited in the car during birthday dinners. I sat in the back row at my stepsister's recitals. There's a framed picture in that house from Christmas 2009 with my father, Denise, and her 2 kids, and a gap on the left where I'd been standing before she asked me to step out. Her kids, Bryce and Adelaide, got everything. Braces, driving lessons, tuition covered. I got my father's guilt in the form of $20 bills slipped to me in the garage. He never once said anything to her about it. I don't know if he was afraid of her or if it was just easier. Either way, he watched. I left at 18, worked overnight stocking at a warehouse, then dispatched, then got my commercial license and started driving. Built something out of nothing. Missed a decade of holidays and didn't feel the absence. Then, 12 years later, a voicemail from Adelaide crying. My father had died. A heart attack in the driveway. Fast. And Denise had discovered that the house was still in his name alone, and that his will, written before the marriage and never updated, left the property to me. The calls came daily after that. Denise, then Bryce, furious, then Adelaide, pleading, then an aunt I hadn't spoken to since I was 19. Family is family. You have to do the right thing. I blocked most of them. Then a letter came from my father's attorney confirming it. The deed had never been changed. There was no survivorship clause, and the property passed to me outright, the only heir named. The house I'd grown up eating dinner alone in was legally mine. Denise turned up at my apartment 2 days later. I still don't know how she got the address. She looked older than I remembered, smaller. They gave me 60 days, she said. I've been in that house 22 years. There's nowhere for me to go. I looked at this woman who had photographed her family around a hole where I'd been standing. I'll meet you at the house, I said. I want to walk through it first. She hugged me. She said she'd always known I had a good heart. I didn't correct her. I drove out the next morning and took my time. Stopped for coffee. The whole crew was waiting on the porch. Denise, Bryce, Adelaide, the aunt, all looking at me like I was holding a lottery ticket, which I suppose I was. I went in alone, walked the hallway with the height marks on the doorframe. Bryce, Adelaide, nothing with my name. Denise followed me into the kitchen. I know things weren't perfect, but I raised you. You didn't, though. I set my keys on the counter. You told me I wasn't really yours at every single holiday for 11 years. You had me sit in the car. Her face tightened. That was a long time ago. I've changed. Maybe you have. I picked the keys back up. But here's the thing, Denise. I'm not really yours. You made that very clear for a very long time. So this isn't really your house. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. Here's the part I want to be honest about. Because people always assume I threw her into the street. I didn't. I gave her 120 days instead of 60, and I paid the movers, and I wrote her a check for the value of everything she'd put into the place over the years. My lawyer thought I was insane. I told her I wasn't doing it for Denise. I was doing it because I didn't want to become a person who could enjoy that. Then I sold the house. I didn't want it. I didn't want to drive past it. Bryce posted a long thing on Facebook about greed and about how blood should mean something. 14 people liked it. Last spring, a letter came from Denise. She wanted to apologize. She wanted to explain. She said, to be family. I read the first paragraph and put it in a drawer. I've got a family. I built mine from scratch. A wife, 2 kids, a dog with a bad hip, and a table where nobody has ever once had to wait for permission to reach for the food. They don't get to join it now.